The Supreme Court struck down affirmative action in college admissions, and now some conservative groups are pushing to expand the court's decision to the private business sector with lawsuits against several companies. That includes Progressive Insurance and the small business resource platform Hello Alice for offering a $25,000 grant to 10 black-owned businesses. The defendants are asking a federal judge to dismiss the case. Joining us now, Neal Katyal, who is representing Hello Alice in the lawsuit, and the president of Hello Alice, Elizabeth Gore. Well, first of all, just explain the concept of Hello Alice, which I think I did, but if you could just take it a step further. No, it's
great. We are so proud to serve 1.5 million small business owners and give them the access to capital they need to employ millions of people in this country. And most of them are your coffee shop owner, your dry cleaner owner, your child care center. But what they have to have is capital. And sometimes women, people of color, U.S. veterans, the first capital they get are small business grants. They're an essential part of our economy.
Right. And sometimes it's hard to get access to capital. I've talked about that with Know Your Value. Women often. There's organizations that serve women. So tell us about this case and what exactly the impact it's having.
So the Supreme Court last year struck down, as you said, affirmative action in university admissions, or at least much affirmative action. They were very careful to limit their holding just to that. Lots of private companies, and it's been a long conservative tradition to let private companies generally do what they want when it comes to, affirmative action programs. But what Stephen Miller from the Trump administration and others have done is they've gone around the country waving that Supreme Court decision about education and saying, now you must get rid of affirmative action in the workplace.
Where does the money come from, though? Where does Hello Alice's money come from?
We have amazing donors who are corporate. We have private individuals. It's our own money.
Right.
And what's important is...
Any federal money?
No.
Any government money?
No.
Okay.
No,
so Stephen Miller is trying to tell you what to do with your own money?
Look, we're a private company, and it's my God-given right to decide where we grant philanthropic money.
It is your right as an American to decide who you want to help. This is preposterous.
Well, look at...
Now, if you listen, I got to say, if you had said, well, no, we get a lot of government grants, I'd have been, okay. But it's your money, it's donors' money, and you, as an American citizen, are deciding you want to help certain people.
Absolutely right. Look, we've worked our butts off to grow this company, and if I decide we want to give, which we have, $40 million to small businesses, and whether it is, Brian Johnson of B&M Motorcycles in Houston, Texas, or it's Dr. Alicia Grable, who happens to be African-American, and running LabJoy in Detroit, that's my God-given right.
So let me ask you, is Stephen Miller's suggestion that if I decide, or my children decide, I give my children money to contribute to charities, and they decide they want to contribute to the NAACP, is Stephen Miller going to sue my 15-year-old son next? Because it's the same argument. And it's the same that we can't give money to people we want to give money to.
Yeah, and given his judgment, I suspect that is the next case. I don't know. But, what he goes around saying is, well, the country's moved on from affirmative action. People don't want it anymore, showing polls and things like that. But he hasn't actually been able to persuade the Hello Alice's of the world or the companies to get rid of it. He's just marching into federal court to try and do what he's never been able to persuade people to do.
The most anti-capitalist, the most unconservative thing to do?
It truly
is to tell individuals what they cannot do. It's your money. You can't give it to people you want to give it to help them.
We're proud to be headquartered in Houston, Texas. And one of the dreams I'd always had is, once our company got bigger, is to give back to other companies. And these are companies that are creating jobs, millions of jobs. And 99% of businesses in this country are small. And they depend on these grants as a new source of capital, especially U.S. veterans, by the way, which are being very impacted by all this legislation, these litigation. It's very, very, very preposterous.
So where does it stand right now, legally?
So they filed the lawsuit. We're going to respond to the lawsuit, and then there will be an oral argument, which we look forward to conducting before the court.
Do you expect a fairly quick resolution of this?
No, because whatever happens in the trial court, it will undoubtedly be appealed to the Court of Appeals and perhaps taken to the United States Supreme Court. So it's years away from resolution, but the court so far has created a space for these types of programs to exist, and so LLs can still operate right now.
No.
Even with this Supreme Court, it looks like a losing case, right?
I think so, yes. I mean, this Supreme Court has policed race neutrality, as Joe says, about government funds and things like that. But these are private companies doing what they want to do with their money.
Elizabeth, tell us about what would happen to these companies, and perhaps more important, the people who are employed by these companies, if they are no longer allowed to get the grants that you are giving them.
So what people don't get is most people in the first 24 months of starting a small business, grants have been around for 50 years, and it's a great mechanism for them to start. So if I'm a U.S. veteran and I just got back from being deployed, I have not built up a strong credit score. Or I'm a woman who's been in the care economy, or maybe I'm an African-American who've had generational wealth gaps. These grants are critical. And there are, we think about our company is very small, but there's $100 billion in grants that go out every year. And so if that mechanism stops, your main street that you love could be halted. The employers on those main streets might not be able to give jobs. So this is a really, really important case that could impact millions of people every day.
All right, Neal Katyal.
Let me ask Neal
really quick, because we have to go.
New York.
Top of the hour.
What do you think is going to happen in New York at the civil trial?
I think it's looking terrible for Donald Trump. Remember, he's already basically been found guilty of inflating the assets and so on. I assume that's the trial you're talking about. He also has the New York Jean Carroll trial, which is also going on, in which a judge forbade him from, presenting much of a defense next week, given what the jury's already found. A jury found that he was guilty of sexually abusing Jean Carroll. So both are looking very bad.
I would guess you have no doubt the Supreme Court is going to throw out a claim for immunity that would allow him to even execute a political opponent.
Yeah, I think the technical legal term for that type of Trump argument is it's a joke. I mean, a joke. It is a travesty that someone running for president would say such a thing.
All right, former Solicitor General, attorney,
Neal Katyal.
and frequenter of the red carpets.
Yes,
like at the Golden Globes.
Yes, he is a star. Elizabeth Gore, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
And Mike Allen, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
All right, at the top of the hour, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi joins the table. We'll get her reaction to Donald Trump.